The moment the enemy captured him, everyone thought his story was over. His hands were forced into the air, weapons aimed at his chest, and harsh voices shouted orders he didn't understand. In that instant, fear should have taken over. His heart was pounding, his body exhausted, and death felt closer than ever before. But instead of panic, something unexpected happened. A strange calm washed over him, and what he did next would leave the enemy stunned, confused, and terrified. Being captured in wartime usually meant one thing: prison, torture, or execution. The enemy soldiers laughed as they searched him, confident that this lone fighter was finished. They joked among themselves, relaxed, careless. To them, he was already defeated. But deep inside his mind, a plan was forming. He watched their movements, counted their steps, noticed how close they stood to one another. He understood one simple truth: this was his only chance. As they marched him toward a temporary holding area, the ground beneath his boots felt heavy, every step reminding him how close he was to the end. His hands were raised, but his eyes stayed sharp. He listened, he waited. Then suddenly, an explosion echoed somewhere far behind the trees. It wasn't close, but it was loud enough. The guards turned their heads for just a second. That single second changed everything. He moved with pure instinct. His body reacted before his fear could stop him. He slammed into the nearest soldier, twisting the rifle out of his hands and driving his shoulder forward with all the strength he had left. Another guard reached for his weapon, but he was already moving, grabbing a dropped pistol from the ground. A gunshot cut through the air. Then another. Shouting erupted. Panic replaced laughter. The enemy had expected obedience. They got chaos instead. In less than a minute, the calm forest turned into confusion. Soldiers yelled orders over each other, unsure of what was happening. Some fired blindly. Others ran for cover. Using the confusion, he kept moving, never stopping, never thinking twice. When the noise finally faded, several enemy soldiers lay injured, and the rest were gone. He stood alone, shaking, breathing hard, alive. Most people would have run immediately, but he knew better. He took supplies, ammunition, and disappeared into the woods before reinforcements could arrive. Behind him, the enemy searched desperately, furious that a captured prisoner had turned into a living nightmare. For days, he survived behind enemy lines. Hunger weakened him. Cold nights drained his strength. Every sound felt like danger. He traveled only after dark, hiding during the day beneath bushes, fallen trees, and abandoned ruins. More than once, enemy patrols passed so close he could hear their boots scraping the ground. At one point, he lay motionless while a soldier stood just feet away, lighting a cigarette. The smoke drifted through the air. His muscles burned from staying still. His lungs screamed for air. But he didn't move. He couldn't. Minutes later, the patrol walked away, never knowing how close they were to death themselves. What kept him going wasn't strength alone. It was willpower. The memory of home. The belief that surviving wasn't just for him, it was for everyone who would never make it back. Every step forward was a refusal to give up. Eventually, after days that felt like years, he crossed into friendly territory. Exhausted, wounded, barely standing, he collapsed near an outpost. Soldiers rushed toward him, weapons raised, unsure who he was. Only after he spoke did they realize the truth. They couldn't believe his story. A captured soldier, an escape, a solo survival behind enemy lines. It sounded impossible. But the evidence was right there. His injuries, the enemy gear he carried. The details only someone who had lived it could know. His commanders listened in silence, exchanging looks of disbelief. Word spread quickly. Among fellow soldiers, his story became a quiet legend. Among the enemy, it became a warning. He was proof that even when everything seems lost, danger can still strike back. Before you continue listening, if stories like this keep you hooked and you want more real moments of courage and survival, make sure you like this video and subscribe. It helps these true stories reach more people and keeps history alive. The war didn't stop for him. Battles continued. Lives were lost every day. But his escape stayed in the minds of everyone who heard it, not because of violence alone, but because of what it represented: hope, defiance, the refusal to surrender to fear. Years later, historians would struggle to explain how such moments were even possible. How could someone, unarmed and surrounded, turn the situation around so completely? The answer is simple: he never accepted defeat. Not when captured, not when hunted, not when death felt certain. Stories like this remind us that history isn't just made by generals or armies. It's made by individuals forced into impossible moments, who choose courage when fear would be easier. If this story shocked you, share it with someone who loves real history, and tell us in the comments what parts surprised you the most. Was it the escape itself, or the survival afterward? Your comments and shares help keep these stories alive. And as long as they're told, the courage behind them will never be forgotten. Thanks for watching.